you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the most common way of cutting horizontal rings in cork. This is a horizontal cork cutter sold by a major manufacturer. What are the limitations of this? Well, for starters, you can only cut cork that is 1.25 inches thick, or sorry, 1.25 inches diameter, and you can only cut certain thicknesses in the cork. Another issue, the aluminum is much less dense than the steel blade that you're using to cut, so eventually you end up with these little cut down areas that are gaps, and what originally was a very close gap widens, and your cork slowly gets more and more inconsistently cut. So what happens? You buy yourself another one. Last I checked, they don't sell these by themselves, so you got to buy the whole kit again, and then this one gets cut as well. So you're looking for something a little better. So for this method, all you need is a drill, you need a shortened piece of mandrel, and a little bit of masking tape, and saw blade of your choice. This is a cork saw. I sell these on my site, as well as a deluxe version that has an adjustment knob for the adjustment of the tension of the saw blade. So you'll take the cork you want to cut, put it on the mandrel, wedge it onto the tape to get it on there so it'll hold on there. You're going to want your drill to spin the opposite direction of the saw teeth on your blade. Get these teeth facing me for a pull cut, so I'm going to have this spin the opposite direction. Now you'll notice that it is not spinning very evenly, so what you can do is either try to adjust a little bit by hand and adjust here and there, or a lot of times I'll just use a second mandrel rod and spin it, push it against it, and then that evens it up pretty well. So what you're going to want to do is, I'll use my middle finger as a guide for the thickness, and I'll just decide where I want to cut, and I will just start a nice thin cut. If it starts bouncing around a little bit like that, you just ease off the saw blade a little bit, and you're through. Slide it over. Next one. One thing you want to be careful of is when you're cutting, if you're cutting at an angle like this, you'll end up with cork that's a little bit fatter in the middle than on the edges, and that's easy enough to just try to concentrate on cutting straight down, or even a little bit to the left side. So you can cut very thin cork. Oh. Like I said, if it starts bouncing around, just ease off a little bit on the saw blade. I think that portion of my saw blade may also be a little duller, running it into the steel, etc. So I may try to bring it back a little bit here. Sorry for the drill noises. Unfortunately, I gotta have the drill close to my face, and also gonna have the microphone close to my face so you guys can hear. So here, I'll normally just use a towel of some sort or shop rag and just kind of wipe it off, and that is good to use in your grips. The time it takes to cut through depends on the density of the material. For instance, this natural cork ring, you'll be able to cut through quite a bit easier. And sometimes if the cork just doesn't want to, it wobbles a little bit in the spin, sometimes if you flip it over the other direction, it'll work a little bit better. This one's a scrap piece I've got that is not quite cut very good there from the cork supplier, so I don't have that option here. And what you can also do is just cut a nice thin layer or thin ring to kind of even it out a little bit. And if you don't have it on there, on that tape good, it will spin on you. And once again, if it bounces a little bit on you, just ease back your saw blade and don't push so hard down with it. Now, the good thing about this method is you can cut any size you want. Say you need a 1/4 inch ring and all you've got are 1/2 inch pieces of cork. You want to make sure that it's fairly straight, of course. And then you can just cut yourself a 1/4 inch ring out of that. And you got 2 1/4 inch rings ready to go. Now, a little bit about the tape. This is worn away from use, but when I put it on, I will start the masking tape at an angle and then just wrap it down so that it gradually gets wider. And what will happen eventually is you'll cut through the tape, cut through the tape, cut through the tape, which is kind of what happened here. But that is it. That's the process. And if you guys have any questions, you can comment below or reach out to me through the site. Thank you.